Hello, Michelle Lee here with Mary-Sophia Mystery School, your personal development and spiritual development mentor and coach. I wanted to jump in here and talk a little bit about trusting yourself. It's one of the biggest challenges I see that women struggle with, especially, and that I get to work with my clients. And before we can really talk about how we can begin to trust ourselves once again, is understanding how we lose that trust. And there's a couple of ways that we actually start disintegrating our trust in ourselves. One of those ways comes from childhood, right? As children, we know what we know, and sometimes that comes through intuition. A lot of it comes through intuition. And if we share that intuition with the people around us, like we know what we know, and the adults around us are like, no, they're trying to protect us. That's not true, honey. No, that's not what's going on. Or they don't even know that's what's going on, right? We start to doubt our own intuition. So that's one way we lose trust in ourselves. Another way is through childhood. Once again, we obtain so much programming, which is absolutely perfect, right? It's so perfect that we receive this programming. It's how we can have this 3D experience to experience ourselves as less than what we are. But one of those programs is that we be 100% ourselves, and it gets us in trouble, or it gets us disapproval, or the authorities in our lives withdraw their love from us, right? And so we learn, oh, that does not get me what I want. I need love to survive. I want my parents to love me and accept me. I want my teachers to love me and accept me. I want to do the things that get me love and acceptance. And oftentimes that's the opposite of who we are, right? And so our trust is diminished. And then as adults, how we lose trust in ourselves. Welcome. Say hello when you tune in. So happy to see you here. Another way that we continue disintegrating our self-trust, even as adults, is we don't follow through on our own word, right? Like we decide we'll do something, whether it's exercise or drink more water or eat a healthier diet or whatever it is, right? There's so many things that we say we're gonna do, save money, and then when it comes down to it, our cravings, our habits, those kinds of things get in the way, or we're just too exhausted to make the change. And we think it's no big deal. It's like we're only breaking our word to ourselves, and we think that's no big deal. We're not letting anybody else down. But the major person that you can let down is yourself. And so when you say you're going to do something and you don't follow through for yourself, you are actually diminishing your self-trust, because you have evidence over and over of not doing what you'll say to do. So that's a key way that you can start building self-trust right now, is make even the tiniest commitments, right? That aren't going to be huge. That's huge for me, right? Like I will go all in and make these huge commitments, because at the time I feel super inspired and super motivated to follow through with those commitments. And then after a few days or a couple of weeks, it's just too much. And so we kind of set ourselves up for failure in that way. So make even tiny commitments to, well, whatever it is, walk one block a day, or get up 10 minutes earlier so you can meditate or journal, something small like that. And make it small, like for 3 days you're gonna do that, or 1 week you're gonna do it. Make it super easy and super small, and just start noticing as you keep your word to yourself how much more you begin to trust yourself and how much more confidence you have in yourself. Another great way is to discover how this self-sabotage comes in is through shadow integration play. And that's what I'm taking my clients through starting next week. A week from today, we're going to go into making light of your shadow, an 8-week deep dive into shadow integration play for you to identify and meet all aspects of yourself and fall in love with all aspects of yourself so you can finally have exactly what you want. And part of that is discovering how your self-trust has been diminished or completely and totally eliminated. Moving through the process that I will be taking you through starting next week helps you identify, oh, what happened in those past times? What happens today? How do you keep perpetuating this idea that you're not worthy, that you're not good enough, that you're not even worth your own time and your own commitment? And so if you've struggled with trusting yourself because you have these stories of failures or these stories of letting yourself down or other people down, making light of your shadow is absolutely perfect for you. Because in this loving, enlightening, so soft of a container where you can truly look within and feel safe to look within, you can begin to discover how you are creating every single aspect of your life. Oh, we've got a nice little breeze come up. The things you do want and the things you don't want. You know, that where you loop, it's like, oh my gosh, I've been working on this for years. I thought I cleared this. I thought I was done with this, but it keeps looping and it keeps showing up in new ways or in the same old ways, right? Making light of your shadow is the perfect vehicle to discover where these unconscious patterns that aren't serving you anymore are coming into play. And I named it Making Light of Your Shadow for a couple of reasons. Why? We're going to transmute your shadow into light. Actually, you're going to discover that your shadow is light. And also, we make light of it. It's fun. It doesn't have to be so serious and so painful. It's hard work in that you get to look at yourself, right? Like when we move out of projecting our problems onto other people and start seeing, not through the lens of blame, but through the lens of reclaiming your power, of how you've created that. That's difficult. It's hard on our egos, right? That's the hardest work, but we make light of it. My goal is to make it a joyful experience and one that you walk away from going, whew, it's like so many burdens are lifted from your shoulders. So if self-trust is something that you have felt challenged by, you have a hard time saying yes to things because you're like, is that going to work for me? And what you really mean is, will I work it? Right? This is the place to be. And so Tori is going to post my scheduling link, my calendar. If you have any questions about making light of your shadow, you can book a call with me. I'm here to answer whatever questions you have. Also, Tori will include the registration link. You can go if you have questions about times, days, when we're running, how long it runs, how much the investment is. Then you can see all of that on the registration page. We have 3 ways to pay. You can pay in full, and you can do a 2-pay or a 3-pay now. So I want to make this as easy as possible for you to say yes and come in for this kind of transformation. And so you can learn to trust yourself again. You are the authority of your life. And if you don't trust you, who can you trust, really? So I hope to see you there. If you have any questions, hey, Angel, so glad to see you here. If you feel moved, if this message supports you and you think other people will be supported, please share it. You know, make a little note of what inspired you to share it so people will actually listen. And making light of your shadow is one very powerful way to change the world, to create a peaceful world. When we create peace within ourselves, we become pillars of peace for others, and that ripples out. So, all right, everyone, have an amazing day, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.